What's good, fam? Welcome back to the third episode of the Veterans of the Game podcast. I am your host, Army Chief Warrant Officer Maine Terry, and today we have another special guest for you. It's going to be retired Army Staff Sergeant Chaene Kingrey. Welcome to the podcast, brother. How you doing?
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. I've known you for a long time, and we never really had a chance to kind of sit down and just chop it up a little bit. So I'm very, very excited about sitting down and just kind of talking through life, man. Talking through a little bit about the Army and you know what you've been doing since we got out.
Awesome, yeah. Just let me know.
All right.
Let me know what you want to hear.
Okay. Yeah, no problem, man. For those who are new to the podcast, Veterans of the Game podcast, it's a podcast that kind of explores the lifestyles, the leisure activities, and sometimes even the laugh out loud moments as experienced by our military veterans. And I've known Chaene for a long time, so we'll probably have quite a few laugh out loud moments to talk about here on the podcast today. For the audience, Chaene, can you tell everybody where you located? Where you out now?
Currently in the DC area.
DC area? Yeah. All right, go ahead.
No, I was just currently DC area after I got out from California. Came this way to chase the contracting dream.
Of course. Yeah, that's what everybody does. Head to DC, chase the contracting dream, man. How long you been?
Well, I've been out for 2 years, but actually I just got my retirement orders from the Army last month. Technically retired from the Army just recently for like a month.
Okay. Well, congratulations, sir. How's the retirement been treating?
So I've been out for 2 years. However, I just got the retirement orders and my certificate this past month. So, I mean, technically only been retired for about a month already. Because sometimes in the Army, when you get out, they want to make sure like all the conditions are stable. And yeah, it's been a good feeling.
All right. Congratulations, man. So a month free of the grasp of Uncle Sam now, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
How's retirement been treating you?
Good. I've been just keeping busy. A lot of people said, after you get out, take like 6 months, year off, or whatever else. But
yeah,
as I told you before, I was like, next week I was trying to busy doing something. Like I just couldn't stand not doing anything. So I couldn't, take more than a week off. So got a job and currently here in DC.
All right. Sweet, man. So I wanted to get right into it and just kind of go over the history of Sergeant King. Tell us about your military journey. How has the military been for you from the beginning?
Military's been amazing. Can't complain at all. When I initially joined or enlisted in 2006, I had no idea what I was getting into. My family was all military and I was totally against it. But after I enlisted and deployed over to Iraq, I just kept on raising my right hand, extending another reenlistment, and yeah, I wouldn't be here in the position I am today without the Army. So it's been pretty good. One deployment to Iraq and one to Afghanistan.
Okay, so how long did you do total in the service?
13 and a half years.
13 and a half?
Yeah.
Okay, so what ended your career?
So I have gout. Like it's a reoccurring like issue that, I was always put on like some sort of a medical status for. Mm-hmm. And so basically when I was in California, they basically said, hey, the Army's going towards, if you always have reoccurring issues, either they're going to kick you out or, we can help, start a process to medically chapter you out since you've had this for like 7 years.
Yeah.
And I've had it ever since I was back at Fort Sam Houston at that time. So I was at California from 2020. I had it ever since like 2012, 2011. So it was just been a reoccurring thing that I didn't want them kicking me out for. So it took my medical provider's advice and took the medical way out.
Okay. All right. And so you're medically retired?
I am, yes.
All right. So I know you mentioned some time in San Antonio. Where'd you get to go? How many places have you been stationed?
So I enlisted and thought I was going to go see the world, but I was stationed at Fort Hood, Fort Sam. Then I volunteered to be an instructor in Arizona. then went to California, and then I got out. So I never left, Kona's side, but I've been deployed or I went TDY everywhere else.
Yeah, so you spent all of your career in the Southwest, huh? So Texas, Arizona, and Cali.
Yeah, I'm basically a good old Southern born and raised now almost.
So out of all your assignments, what do you think was the best one?
I would say my first assignment, Fort Hood, where it got me to my deployment to Iraq and Afghanistan. Of course, it sucked at the time, but looking back, it was where I basically shaped the rest of my military career. If I wanted to stay in, or if I didn't want to stay in, and made a lot of good friends that I'm still with today.
Yeah, that's kind of been a recurring theme is you meet people while you're in the military and even if it's your first assignment, you're still pretty good friends with those guys, 15 years later and you stay in pretty close contact. I mean, we've known each other since what, 2012, so almost 10 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, so I think that the military has a way of creating pretty tight bonds between people and have some long lasting relationships, and sometimes even uh, becoming part of your family.
Yeah, I think it's mainly like when you're all suffering together, like everybody bonds just like dude, like, and they get to like either know people more than their own family does, or they just like when you're in it with them, that doesn't matter, come hell or high water, they'll be with you till the end. So that forms really strong bonds and relationships.
Yeah, yeah. So what would you say you was your biggest takeaway from the military?
For me, since I enlisted and I was 20 years old, just the structure, learning to be accountable, learning to be responsible, and just basically how to be an adult. Oddly enough, because again, like even though I enlisted when I was 20, I had no idea what I was going to be doing or what I wanted to do. But after being in for a little bit, it gave me a little structure, gave me, at least for me, an idea of what I want to do if I did get out. And was fortunate enough to run into people who kept pushing me either continue my professional or personal education, or just always keep me in line. So that's, I mean, I think that's the biggest takeaway. It's just it gave me that good foundation.
Okay. I know a lot of people when they join the military, they either, they come right out of high school. So you get a lot of 17, 18, 19-year-old kids joining the military. You said that you joined at 20, right?
I did, yeah.
Okay. Did you do anything in between high school and joining the service?
I attempted college, didn't go quite well. And
Attempted.
then yeah, I attempted college at the time, and then I also just worked some odd ends and jobs around my hometown. And I was just like, luckily for my mom was just like, you need to get into something, even though you don't like the military. And I think one of the biggest factors for me is when I graduated, I just had my oldest son. So the army at the time was like, we'll take care of your military bills. They give their whole recruitment pitch, like, hey, all you gotta do is just raise your right hand, sign on the dotted line. We'll take care of everything you have right now. We'll pay you on the 15th and the first. So with me not knowing what to do and with like medical bills staring me in the face, that's how I stumbled into the army.
Okay. So do you feel like it was a good decision on your part to join the military?
Hands down. Yeah. I don't know where I'd be currently if I didn't, especially with the skill set, mindset I have. Who knows? I might still be lost.
Yeah. And I bet that's the case for a lot of people. When you finally did join the military, I know you said that you didn't have any idea what you wanted to do at the time. But when you joined, what did you actually get into?
So when I joined, do you mean like on my off time or
No, your
what?
career field.
Oh, I was 35 series. It's basically just got an intel, and they said, "Hey, you tested high enough." So I got into that field, and for the most part, you know, aside from having to go out there and doing a lot of like humping and rucking, I was able to help you know with using my mind and stuff and sitting down and whatever else they wanted me to do. So it was really good.
And is that what you did as an instructor? You got a little bit of experience as a young soldier, volunteered to be an instructor, and went to
Oh
teach
no,
other
can you
intel
pause again?
soldiers?
Yeah, as an instructor, basically whatever job that I learned in the Army, I was allowed to teach. So it comes a certain point, I believe with every service where after you reach DO ranks where they say, hey, you have to start giving back to the service that you're a part of.
Yeah.
So for the Army, I didn't want to be a drill sergeant. You know me. I don't want to yell at like constantly at people, and I didn't want to be a recruiter because it hadn't. So I just wanted to like teach, and oddly enough, I really liked teaching when I was at Huachuca. So yeah, so basically, I taught the future of my job in the Army for
Okay.
about 3 years.
Did you ever have the opportunity to run into soldiers that you had taught before? Did you run into them again later in your career?
Yeah, oddly enough, I ran into them while they're going through like advanced training when I was still
Hmm.
teaching on what we call it sometimes platform or whatever 10 level course. And I ran into them when they're coming back through, or was it they would tell me that, hey, message me like I just, I'm a warrant and stuff right now, like, for aviation, or been promoted to NCO, and they just sometimes get me up to date with their stuff. It was really, really cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So even if they got out of the career field, they still had enough, I guess, respect for you to reach out and let you know, hey, so you were Sergeant Kingrey at the time. Hey, Sergeant, I appreciate you teaching me what you taught me, and I've become a warrant officer, and I fly helicopters or whatever, huh?
Yeah, I don't know why, because anyone who had me as their instructor, I was yelling half the time. So, like as a junior soldier, you can't do anything right. So I was. But however, though, I think the difference between the way I guess I raised my voice or yelled at them as opposed to others is I would always, tell them what they're doing wrong and how to fix it, as opposed to just, yelling at them. And that's what they valued the most. Is they knew whenever I was yelling, it was something that they were actually messing up and trying to make them better.
Well, that's awesome, man. So I really only have one last question regarding your military career, and that is, what do you wish you could have gotten out of the military that you never got to accomplish?
For me, it's just I guess the luck of the draw. But I really wish I did an OCONUS, like a PCS. Like
Yeah.
everybody always
So
talks about, like going, like being stationed in Germany or something.
okay.
Like, everybody you always talk about, like, man, I've been all over the place, and I was like, yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That'd be pretty. But no, it wasn't in the cards. Army sends you wherever they need you, and
Hmm.
that's one thing that I do miss. I got to go TDY a bunch of places. However, for being stationed and experiencing the actual culture of, so yeah, just definitely one thing I missed out on.
Okay. So are you saying that Germany is where you wanted to go? That's what you wish you could have got out of the army?
No, man, it could have been anywhere. It could have been Germany. After we graduated from our MOS school, some people got sent straight to Japan. I'm like, how do you get Japan, bro?
Yeah.
Like, I got Fort Hood, Texas. Welcome to the great place. I was like, man. So yeah, it's like it could have been anywhere, honestly. As long as if I would have PCSed overseas, I think it just would have been one, a good experience, and two, just broaden my skill set as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all pretty interesting, man. I'm sorry that you weren't able to get that overseas assignment that you wanted. Is that something that you're able to kind of finagle out of your career as a contractor now?
If I really wanted to, but that time for me wanting to go overseas is gone because I married, have 4 kids, and I just want to stay stateside now.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like after a certain point, extra things like going special forces or even airborne doesn't seem appealing to someone who already wakes up with like a arthritis in their back or something. So for me especially, I was like, no, I did wish I had it, but it doesn't really appeal to me much anymore.
Okay. So is the DC area, is that where you're gonna, you know, make your final destination, or are you looking at going someplace else?
Oh no, after maybe 1 or 2 kids graduate, we'll eventually put our roots that back down in San Antonio.
Okay. Yeah, San Antonio, man. You know what? If If I could guarantee another San Antonio assignment, I'd avoid retiring, bro. I'd stay and do another 3 or 4 years just to get San Antonio again.
Of course, yeah. It's a great place.
Well, that's what they call Fort Hood. It's the great place.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's really San Antonio. They trick you, get you into Texas, and trap you in Fort Hood.
Oh no, they got me at Fort Hood first, then sent me to San Antonio afterwards.
And you thought that Fort Hood was the better assignment?
I did, mainly because I had my 2 deployments were straight from there.
Okay.
And to be honest, I hated Fort Hood when I was there. But when I left there and went to, like, say, less standards of a post, or a post that was basically not a highly deployed post,
Mm-hmm.
you kind of like miss the rigid structure, and you miss kind of like, hey, you shouldn't be wearing dirty PTs to the PX or something like that. It's just like, plus when I PCS'd, I was also an NCO too. So maybe I had a different like, outlook on stuff, but no, it's just, I hated Fort Hood, to be honest. Anyone could tell you when I was there, but when I got out and PCS'd other places, I was like, man, Fort Hood wasn't that bad.
And I'm the type of guy that could make the best, out of any situation. I always got told, because one of my assignments was to Fort Riley, and people always
Oh
told
goodness.
me,
Yeah.
yeah, right. And people always told me, man, you'll hate it. There's nothing to do. It's in the middle of nowhere, and you know, you'll be miserable in Kansas. And that was probably my favorite assignment, even being stationed in Italy for a while and getting to travel around Europe a little bit.
Yeah.
I think my favorite duty station was actually Fort Riley, Kansas.
Yeah. So some people like, Leesville, Louisiana, and like different other places. So
Is that Fort Polk?
yeah.
I don't know anybody that likes Leesville, Louisiana.
Oh, I one of my NCOs, who's now a chief, liked it there because he liked the outdoors.
Yeah.
And so I was like, hey man, everybody likes something.
Yeah, I guess you make of it whatever whatever you can make of it, and some
Yep,
people they find their niche no matter where you
of course.
station them. Yeah.
Yep.
So anything else memorable or anything else regarding your military career that you wanted to discuss?
No, I mean, I just, for the most part, I can't replace, or can't put a price tag on the experiences, and plus the people that I met. So no, do I regret anything? No. Do I wish I had maybe like, a couple more things? We already discussed that.
Mhm.
But no, my wife has been with me for like 2 deployments, and now we have 4 kids, and I really couldn't, say anything that, the Army really didn't give me, and to make me to where I'm at right now.
Well, that's good to hear, man. So I'm glad you were able to make the most out of your time in the Army, and it looks like you're doing pretty well for yourself, man. You chasing the contractor dream on the East Coast.
I am, yeah, just slightly.
Okay. All right. Well, before we get into our next topic, we'll take a brief break. So please stand by for a little more from Ebony Ascent.
This podcast is brought to you by the Ebony Ascent Content Network. Check out more great content at ebonyascent.com.
Welcome back, fam, to the Veterans of the Game podcast, where we're talking to retired Staff Sergeant Chaene Kingrey. Chaene, I wanted to get into a little bit about what's going on in your personal life. I know you. I guess 1 month now I've been enjoying retirement, but ever since you took the uniform off, what have you been passionate about? What's been keeping you busy?
Basically, just been playing. When I first enlisted, I played video games, and now I just have a little bit more time to play video games. So I play video games. My family, my kids all do jujitsu, so keeping up with that, and then yeah, just reconnecting and staying, with the family and stuff.
Okay. And you said you got a wife and 4 kids, right?
I do, yes.
How old are the kids?
My oldest one is 17, and my youngest one is 13. And then I also have a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old.
Okay. So 17 is the oldest and 8 is your youngest?
3.
Oh, I thought you said an 8-year-old, a 3-year-old.
So I have a 17, 10, 8, and 3.
Okay. So that's a huge spectrum, man.
It is, yeah.
Definitely. I'm kind of in the same boat. My oldest is 15 now, and my youngest just turned 4. So we're kind of in the same spectrum.
It's about the same, yeah.
Yeah. Do they partake in the video games with you?
Oh yeah, they all play video games. We play a couple games together, but for the most part, they also play their own games as well.
Okay. So what's your game of choice?
Right now, I've been playing on the computer. I've been playing Escape from Tarkov. It's like a looter slash shooter kind of game.
Okay.
But I originally started on the Xbox.
All right. So you transitioned from the Xbox to PC?
I did, yeah.
Okay. Are you one of those PC master race guys?
Not really. Like actually, I like the simplicity of a controller, but the PC does have a little bit more options and stuff when it comes to different games that they can have. And plus, I started streaming here about a couple months ago. Yeah, people who pop into my stream like to see the different, at least some PC games and some Xbox games.
Okay. So you're a bit of a variety streamer.
I am, yeah, a little bit, not too much.
Okay. All right. So you said that you started streaming. How long have you been doing that?
Only for about a couple months. Like was it? I do it on Twitch. There's different platforms you could do it on, but for about Twitch, about 2 months I just hit recently. Yeah.
Okay. How big is your following?
I have 400 or so followers.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, so you're kind of on top of it, man. 400 followers, because I'll plug up the PlayStation every now and then, and I'll see streamers and they have like maybe 2-3 viewers. You got 400. That's pretty good.
Well, the viewers is just the people who's watching them when they're currently streaming.
Yeah.
But like for the most part, I average about 8 or 9 people watching me and throughout the day. So yeah, I mean it's pretty cool. Really supportive community.
So with 400 subscribers or followers, what do you call it on Twitch? Is it followers or subscribers?
So you can follow on the channel just to hey, whatever. But if you actually want to support a streamer for Twitch, if someone reaches affiliate or even partner, you can actually subscribe and help, basically promote the channel or contribute to the streamer who's actually playing the games. So right now I have 400 followers and there's like a handful of subscribers that also contribute as well.
Okay. So have you been able to kind of monetize your streams?
They do, yeah. Whenever they either subscribe or they donate, Twitch has a payout program and stuff, and it's pretty cool.
Okay. You making big bucks?
For me, anytime any bucks that you make when you're playing a game is big bucks. So I mean, someone told me that, hey, if you're gonna play games, why don't you stream it? It's really not much more of a work, and I mean, if you get money or whatever else, that's just a bonus. So yeah, I'm really not doing anything extra than I have been, say, in past months or past years, except now I just interact a little bit more with the people who stop in.
Okay. So you're able to talk to your viewers and kind of interact with them at the same time?
Yeah, I have a pretty big screen. So sometimes streamers use 2 or 3 different screens, but I just have a really, really big curved screen. And so whenever someone pops in to say hi, I immediately see it and I, greet them and stuff. And, the back and forth is basically why people show up, because it's more like hanging out with someone as opposed to just watching someone and there's no other feedback.
Yeah. That's kind of why I wanted to get into podcasting, is because one thing I miss is just being able to sit and hang out with, a lot of my old military buddies, and we never really have a reason to just sit and talk. You get married, you have kids, you move away, and you have your own kind of life away from everybody else. And it just happens every 2-3 years in the military. It just happens. And so part of the reason why I even started the podcast is because I wanted to kind of bring that feeling back and get back into just checking in on, your old buddies and just having a chat, man, just talking about life.
Yeah, that's basically it. That's why I appreciate you having me on your podcast. And plus, same thing. Some people just, say they get off work or at any time during the day. If I'm streaming, they just pop in and, either we, talk about anything or they just sit there and, just comment on how badly I may be dying half the time.
Yeah, at least you're not supposed to be like one of those super Twitch pro gamers. You kind of
Oh yeah,
just
no,
you just kind of hang out.
it's all casual gameplay, just hanging out, and, just having fun playing games.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. How complicated is your setup? I know you said you got a nice screen there, but what else did you have to, I guess configure to get into streaming?
So for Xbox, it's really simple. You can stream straight from your Xbox. So Xbox, PlayStation, they all have that built-in app. You just have to like select the app within the. So really not much. For PC, again, like as long as your PC can handle streaming anything, you just have to download one or two different apps, and then if you want to go live, you just click live or go live, and then basically nowadays it's not like before how we have to like set up everything ourselves and do a bunch of stuff. Now there's a lot of presets and overlays that you just pick what you like, and then you click go live, and there you go. So it's a one-man lift for most of it.
So if any of our viewers, any of our VOTG viewers wanted to check you out, man, where do we find you?
My Twitch is just twitch.tv/K2 the veteran.
K2 the veteran.
Yep, just the letter K, number 2, and the veteran, no spaces.
Okay, all right, and is that on PC and Xbox?
Yeah, so Twitch streams anything, console or PC or anything. So my
Okay,
channel has all kinds of games on there from different stuff.
all right, that's cool, man. You spend any time on the PS4, PS5?
No, when I was growing up, I never really got into PlayStation. So my ecosystem at the house is mainly Microsoft and Apple. So I know I have a lot of friends who play PlayStation. I think we have a PlayStation 4 in the house, but it's mainly for like one game that I wanted to play. But I don't play anything else besides that.
What's the game? Is it God of War?
It is actually God of War, and
Nailed it.
yeah, it's that and Horizon Zero Dawn, which is a
Okay,
pretty cool game.
yeah. So you literally bought a PS4 for 2 games?
Yes.
Yeah. Don't be ashamed. I would have done it too.
No. Like I got, was it when the Switch first came out? I got it for the Zelda game. I
Breath
didn't
of the
buy any
Wild.
other game after that. Yeah, I didn't buy anything after that. I still have
Yeah.
it. I'm like, oh, all right.
Yeah. That might be my gamer shame is I literally bought a Wii U for Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I bought a Switch for Breath of the Wild, and I just played that, and I'm like, you want to play any other games? I'm like, no, man, I have an Xbox. What are you talking about?
Yeah. So that's I mean that's what it is, man. I know that a lot of let me not say a lot. I know that there's a few Sony exclusives that are starting to come to PC. So, you're probably going to be able to get the best of all worlds here in a few years.
Yeah, maybe, but it seems like they're having more and more competition lately. It's like, hey, like we have our own exclusives, and they have their own exclusives. So hopefully that'd be great for all gamers. However, I think still that PlayStation and Microsoft will have like those one or two games that just won't be played on the other ones, like maybe Halo for Microsoft,
Yeah.
and who knows, Final Fantasy and everything else still on PlayStation.
Yeah. Is Halo did Halo kind of make a bit of a comeback?
Uh, I mean, with that new TV series, some people it's mixed reviews, but for the most part, a lot of people like who weren't into video games or even Halo before watched that new TV series. The season 1 just ended,
Hmm.
and they're like, "Man, I should get back into Halo, or I should figure out what this is all about."
Yeah.
So I think for the most part, that TV series that was just reignited a lot of new people who'd like to play the game, and either made people angry or fulfilled a lot of the original gamers of that game.
Yeah. So did you check out the TV series?
Oh, I did. I loved it.
Okay, so you're one of the people that gave it some rave reviews.
No, you know me, man. If I watch something, I'm not going to be like, oh, I don't like this thing because this one minute like detail that they wanted to insert. I like it mainly because one, they took the time to actually make a series,
Hmm.
and two, it's their take on it, and it just brought back the game that I used to play when I was in high school to the big screen. So when Halo 1 first came out, I was a junior in high school. So I mean, for me, it's
Dang,
just like a bunch of nostalgia.
has it been that long ago? A junior in high school, huh?
Yeah.
You know what? I
So,
think when Halo came out, I was on my first deployment. I
yeah.
think I played that in Iraq
Yeah. It's either you played Halo or Guitar Hero.
or Guitar Hero. Yeah, one or the other. I did both.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did
So
both,
like,
man.
so yeah, I think it's making a comeback, and they did it in such a good way that even people who didn't even like or know about Halo, I mean, sales went up, and it's crazy. It's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty good, man. Because historically, video game shows and movie adaptations were cursed. They've been cursed for so long, and now it looks like they're starting to get things right, man. I'm pretty excited about the Last of Us TV series on HBO.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
I'm ready for that to come out.
And hopefully that they do as well as they did for Halo on that one too, because that's a really good storyline. They shouldn't mess up.
Yeah, yeah, man. I hope not, man. I think there we had kind of a zombie renaissance for a while, and I hope that it's not outlived its appeal. But yeah, man, I think The Last of Us is probably one of my favorite game series of all time. So
Yeah, I think people start getting sick of zombie games when they kept on trying to pump down Resident Evil year after
mhm.
year. And I was like, come on, like how many times is they're gonna keep doing Resident Evil? It was a good game, but then when they came out with all the movies, it's just like,
Yeah,
but
it's
yeah,
part of.
Last of Us and Dying Light are pretty good as well.
Okay, yeah. I've never played Dying Light. That's Xbox.
It's PlayStation and Xbox,
Oh, it's on PlayStation as well. Okay,
I believe.
yeah,
Yeah, I
I've
never
never
played it,
played that.
but someone told me that it was also a really good, was it, storyline as well.
Okay. Speaking of storylines and TV show or movie adaptations, man, what game needs to be remade as a movie or TV show?
What game needs to be remade into a movie or TV show?
Yeah.
Whew, shoot. I I would say we need a really, really good remake of Super Mario. Like
As a TV show, a movie, or what?
either or, because they keep doing like these small cameos, like in Pixel or some other stuff. But like NES and Super NES is where it basically all started. So
Yeah.
I think that if they could bring back something and make it like enjoyable for all ages, I think that'd be great because everybody knows who Super Mario is, Donkey Kong, and so on and so forth. But now,
Yeah.
when you talk about this stuff, people are now replacing Donkey Kong for Wreck-It Ralph, and
Yeah.
people are now replacing Super Mario for other video games out there. It's like no, like what about Yoshi? Yosh who? Like and so for me as a person who's been gaming for a while, it's like I think if they redid that as well, or just some of the other ones like Metroid Prime or
Hmm.
any of the ones, just take a Super Smash Brothers and pick all of those characters that they debuted. So I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I think there is a animated version of Mario, a Mario movie or a show in the works right now. Because
I hope so.
I think Star Lord Chris Pratt is the voice of Mario.
That'd be interesting.
That's what I said, man. How is that going to work? But yeah, I think they're working on something right now. So you might get your wish, bro.
Yeah, because they just came out with the second movie of Sonic, and it was pretty cool. Like everybody who
Very
played
cool.
Sonic when they were like, when we turned on the Genesis, like Sega,
Hmm.
and then like everybody's liking the new Sonic. So I think if brought back other games as well, it'd be pretty awesome.
And Sonic is so timeless because my 4-year-old, that's his favorite character. His favorite character in the world is Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, and then I like how they did the new characters as well. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So that's pretty good, man. I almost forgot about Sonic, and I probably have to listen to it in the background twice a day, every day, because my son loves them, man. He loves those movies.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think when the second movie came out, my 3-year-old watched at least 3 or 4 times in the same setting. Like, she knows how to, like, pause it, and then she uses the Apple TV remote to go all the way back to the beginning, and I'm like, "Okay." So,
Yeah, these kids, man, they know technology better than we ever did.
yeah, they're getting more and more, what do you call it, intuitive nowadays with the remotes and stuff.
Yeah, and don't put a tablet or an iPad or iPhone in front of them, bro. They can they can reset your entire library.
Yeah, we were driving down one time to jujitsu, and this was like a couple years ago now, but my kids are like, "Hey, can you turn on the hotspot?" And I was like, "Hotspot?" At your age, I had to wait for someone to get off the phone before I could even connect to the internet.
You
But
sound like a grumpy old man now, bro.
no, but like for me and my wife, it's like, man, like these kids, they can grasp this stuff so easily. But
Hmm.
like, back then, it's just like we had to deal with dial-up, we had to deal with like, all the trials and tribulations of being prehistoric internet.
Yeah. So, are you an only child, or do you have siblings?
I'm the youngest of 8.
Of 8?
Yeah,
That's why you're so chill, man. That
I'm I'm,
explains why
I'm
you're
laid
so.
back, I'm chill. Yeah.
You had to wait for everything, man. So that's why you're so chill.
I also got everything too, so I've always got like all the hate from my brothers and sisters. Like, man, we didn't have that when we were growing up. It's like you should have been born later.
But yeah, man, growing up in a house where you had dial-up internet and somebody picks up the phone and crushes your whole internet session, yeah, kids don't have to deal with that these days.
No, no, not at all. Especially when you're downloading and it's like forever to download maybe 1 megabyte back then.
Yeah, you try to download one picture, one piece of album art for a CD that takes like
Yeah.
4 hours.
It was the era of the Napster and people like trying to like get free songs and stuff.
Oh man, Napster and LimeWire.
Yeah. I remember when people actually wanted to share music, they had to burn it onto a CD and actually make an actual CD for someone. Like, hey bro,
Hmm.
listen to this stuff. Now it's just like sharing your playlist or something.
Yeah, bro. That was game in high school and in college. You make a CD
Yeah.
for a girl and tell her to listen to the songs, bro. That you know how much play you could get making a mixtape for your girl back in college.
Yeah. I bet it was like half the songs were Usher.
Yeah, I was an Usher stan, bro.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, it's like my wife still has a bunch of those CDs still saved, and she's just like, man, like you're looking at some of this stuff. Some of the songs are still pretty good today. Survived the times.
Yeah. So that was you. You made your wife some mixtapes. That's how you
I
bagged
made
her.
a couple, like one or
Yeah.
two. No, no, no. My wife and I met up by happenstance once because my cousin, because I went to a Catholic school and my wife went to a public school, and my cousin brought over her friend one time to my house. He's like, "Hey, do you mind if I bring over a friend?" I'm like, "No," and it happened to be my wife. It is today, so. And we always joke about this, like, man, if you didn't come to my house that one day, because it had to be like the right circumstances where, like she wasn't doing anything. She didn't mind walking with my cousin to my place, which is about maybe a quarter mile to half a mile down the road. And yeah, the rest is history for us.
Yeah. So all right. So I know you said you had your first kid. You was pretty young, before 20.
Oh yeah, I had it when I was 19,
19.
or
So
actually
were you
18. 18. I was 18.
so were you still in high school when you met your wife?
So I was graduating when I met my wife, and she was a sophomore. And when I was going off to Ohio State at the time, she was pregnant with our son.
Okay. So
So,
bro, so I've known you for a decade and I had no idea that you went to the Ohio State University.
well, because I only went there and I didn't actually do anything. I was just like, how many times can I use like freshman forgiveness? It was a party town, and yeah, my mindset was just not ready for higher level education at the time.
Yeah. Did you ever get back in school?
I did. I started up again when I was in the service in the Army, and then I'm still continuing it right now using my post 9/11 GI Bill.
Okay, yeah. So, what's your field of study?
Business, with a focus in psychology.
See, you're man of my heart, fellow psych major right here. Yeah. That explains why you got into the field that you got into. We'll have to talk about that some other time.
Some other time, different time.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I like it a lot.
That's awesome. So, when do you expect to graduate?
As long as I keep on doing the classes and I don't take like summers off and stuff. Right now, it looks like a 2025.
2025?
Yeah.
All right, brother. Well, best of luck to you in the future, man. Do you have anything else you want to get off your chest before we wrap it up?
No, I just thanks again for having me on your podcast, and just I appreciate it again. It's good seeing you.
Yeah, no problem, bro. Yeah, man. I miss running into you and cracking up about the random political climate and how stupid how stupid social media can get. Yeah, we have some pretty funny conversations.
Or just complaining about work.
Or just complaining about work. So before we end it, man, what do you want the people to know you got going on? You got anything you want to play?
No, it's like if anyone would like to come check me out, again, my Twitch is twitch.tv/K2 the veteran. And yeah, you can stop by anytime, talk about games, or even if you have a question about Army or any other service, just come on by, let me know.
Yeah. Do you get a lot of questions about being a veteran, since the veteran is in your handle?
I do from other people who are other veterans, because so I made that handle K2 the veteran on the Xbox. It was my gamer tag for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And made it like when I first entered the military. I was pretty excited or whatever. So I just never changed it. And so when people actually come to my channel and they say, "Oh, hey, are you actually a vet?" and they see some of my bio and like, "Oh, dude," then that's like instant rapport with other people, because they say they're a Marine or they got out as well. And eventually, like some other people who might be in the chat who didn't quite pick up that that I was also in the service, like, "Oh, dude, I'm about ready to enter, or I'm about ready to get in. Can I ask you a couple questions?" So it's a pretty good time.
Yeah, see, that's the cool thing when you run into some kid, some some young former squeaker on Xbox, and they're like, "Hey, man, I'm thinking about joining the military." You ever convince anybody to actually step up and serve?
I don't try to convince them. I just answer their questions, and then if I try to give them as much information so they can make their own decision.
Yeah.
But as for convincing or anything, it's just a lot of times they just don't know what to ask, or what questions they should ask their recruiter.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the biggest thing. It's like, hey, if you're going into this service, make sure you have your recruiter give you X, Y, and Z, or say, hey, if you want this job specifically, the Army is one of the main services that we can actually pick your job into your contract. So yeah, I just try to make sure that they don't either, one, don't get lied to, two, like not misled in any way, and three, just if they do raise their right hand, they have all the information to make the best decision.
That's pretty good, man. So you're recruiting from afar via Xbox chat, huh?
Yeah, Xbox, or was it the computer? But no, just they already wanted to enlist or serve. They just have questions that I could answer. Yeah.
Yeah. You think you ever scared anybody off and kind of changed your mind on trying to join the service?
Not in joining service. I have had someone switch their mind on which service to join. Just by asking stuff. Like one person actually wanted to do something that was more Army Marine Corps, but then after being in the chat with the other people who was also vets, they actually raised their right hand and is currently serving in the Air Force.
In the Air Force, of course, yeah. If you get a bunch of vets together talking about their time in the service, yeah, nobody would ever join Marine Corps or Army.
Yeah, no, it's all about the Air Force. They're like, bro. They would, like, one guy talked about his time in Desert Storm. One guy talked about his time in the Surge. He's like, Air Force had the best things everywhere I went.
Yes.
And that guy wasn't really all about like the hua duty to serve kind of thing. He was all about if I do this, I want to be relaxed a little bit.
Yeah, I want to be comfortable for 20 years. I get it.
Quality of life.
That's where it's at, man. All right, so everybody, it's been a good podcast, a real fun podcast, man. I didn't think we'd spend as much time on video games as we did, but I appreciate your knowledge. I appreciate you stopping by, chatting with me. Everybody, you want to check out retired Army Staff Sergeant Chaene Kingrey. You can find him on Xbox, PlayStation, or not PlayStation, Xbox, PC, twitch.com/K2 the Veteran. Any last words for the people, man?
No, again, thanks for everybody tuning in and listening, and hope to see some of you guys in the channel or whatever.
Yeah. All right, bro. Well, I appreciate you for stopping by, and until next time, Chief out.